Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy SimplyFoodByTy, and today, baby, I'm going to be teaching y'all how to make bacon onion jam stuffed cheeseburger egg rolls. Yes, you heard me right. So the first thing we're going to work on right now is the bacon onion jam. Now, just so you guys know, if you want a more in-depth version of how to make my bacon onion jam, just click on the link that just popped up above at the top of your screen. I've actually done an individual recipe video on how to make bacon onion jam, but this is a very quick version of how to make it. Now, just so you know, the key to making this is that you do want to make this the day before so that everything can really gel together. What I've just chopped up here was about a pound of thick cut bacon. You don't really have to get too specific on how you chop it up, as long as it's pretty much even for the most part for the cooking purposes. Now, of course, we're also going to be using our onion. Now, anytime you're making bacon onion jam, you want to make sure that you're using like a white sweet onion. That's pretty much the only type of onions that I particularly use. I would also say the smaller you cut your onions down, the less work you'll have to do later on. Also, if you already know that you're one that don't really enjoy like the taste of like huge chunks of onions, definitely just take the time now to cut it down smaller, because it'll save you a bunch of, time later on. Now, just so you know, I used 1 full pound of bacon for this particular recipe, and I used 2 large onions. And like I said, I used 2 large sweet onions for this. So now that we've gotten those all prepped, we can head on over to the pan to start getting this all nicely cooked up and prepped. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cook off the bacon fully. Now, the reason why I like to do it this way instead of the opposite way when I'm doing this quick version is just because I don't have to worry about adding in any extra oil or anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to cook off that bacon just about to the point to where you know it's pretty much fully done. You don't want to burn it, because then that's just going to leave a really bitter taste in your bacon onion jam. So really keep an eye on it. You're not going to drain off any of that oil. That oil is going to come in handy later on. And then you're just going to add in all of those onions. Now, of course, I know that looks like a lot of onions. And for a person like me that doesn't even enjoy onions, trust me, it's the perfect amount. They're going to cook down for almost 2 hours, so you really won't even be able to taste that raw oniony taste at all. You ain't got to worry about that. Now, of course, we're not going to be adding any salt to this at all. There's more than enough salt in that bacon. Now, this stage right here was, I would say, probably about 15 minutes into the cooking process. You want to make sure that you have it on about, I would say, about a medium high temperature at this stage for the first 15 minutes. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add in about a half a cup or about 1 cup's worth of Yingling. I used exactly half the bottle. So if that's the way you want to measure it, I would say about a half a cup. Now, once you've added the beer in, now we're at the stage where we're going to start trying to cook it nice and slow. Once again, I only used about half of that bottle. You can use more, you can use less. You won't be able to taste the alcohol. So now we are pretty much at about the hour stage. I've drastically turned the temperature down, had that top on it. You're just going to let that cook with the top on for an additional 15 minutes, and then you're going to sit that to the side. Remember, you want to do that the day before. So now we're going to work on the meat. I'm using ground turkey today. You can use ground beef if you would like. I'm adding in onion powder, garlic powder, a few dashes of Worcestershire, some black pepper. I use about a half a teaspoon of the onion powder, the garlic powder, about a teaspoon of black pepper, and now I'm adding in about a tablespoon of the seasonal salt. Now, I just like to mix this in this way just because it's ground turkey, and sometimes I feel like ground turkey just don't be getting seasoned right. So even if I am going to be grounding it up in the pan, I still like to mix all of the seasonings in this way, just so I can really make sure that ground turkey is fully seasoned. I have maybe about a tablespoon of oil, and honestly, this part of the video is not difficult at all. All you're really doing for this is just cooking off the meat fully. You just want to make sure that, of course, it's fully cooked. You also want to make sure that it's really broken down. Make sure that you're really chopping it up into small pieces. It'll help you in the end, because if they're too big of chunks, then when it comes time to making the egg rolls themselves, it'll be way too difficult to try to wrap it up. So I would just say make sure that you're really breaking it down, and try not to overcook your ground turkey. That's most people's problem when they're making ground turkey and they say that it's so dry. It's because it's being overcooked. You should still be able to see some oil in the bottom of that skillet, because right now this turkey's done. So we're gonna sit that to the side. So now we have our assembly line here ready to go. Now what I would suggest is make sure that you guys let that ground turkey cool off for just a few seconds, because you don't want to burn the hell out of yourself. Of course, like I said, our bacon onion jam was made the day before, so that looks beautiful. And now we're just going to add in a few spoonfuls of the ground turkey. Of course, as you saw, I always put water on the edge of my egg roll wraps. And the cheese that we're going to be putting in this is a Colby Jack and cheddar blend. I just used a cup of each and just blended it together. I'm putting in a nice hefty amount of the bacon onion jam, and then we're going to top it with just a little bit of the cheese. As always, when you're making egg rolls, you want to make sure that you're not going overboard with filling it too much, because then it won't close and then you run the risk of it busting, and then it just makes a mess in your pan. So you want to take the outside, fold that in, and then from your stomach away from you, you want to roll it. Get yourself a little bit of water. You're going to use it as glue, and then roll it again. And then you've just made yourself a beautiful egg roll. Now, I would say make sure that you're not getting your cutting board completely soaked in water. You don't have to use a lot of water. Just make sure that it's wet, okay? The reason why I'm saying make sure you're not getting out of control, because if your entire cutting board gets wet and you sit that egg roll wrap on it, now the whole thing is going to get wet, and then it's going to get sticky, and then it'll start ripping, and you don't want that. So, try to contain yourself when you're putting the water on the edges. So I'll show you guys once again. We've put the ground turkey, our lovely bacon onion jam. We're going to use a little bit of that cheese. And once again, we're going to take from left to right. We're going to fold that in, trap everything on the inside, and then from your stomach away from you, you're going to roll it again, nice and tight. And as you're doing it, you want to tuck it in nice and tight. And then you're going to take a little bit of your water to put right on that edge, just kind of seal it like a piece of glue. So we're going to repeat that process a few times. And then as you can see, we've ended up with, I think I have 8 egg rolls here. This recipe actually makes anywhere between 10 to 15 egg rolls. I just don't make all of them because that's way too many egg rolls. Now that we have our oil nice and hot, we can plop those in. Now, just so y'all know, egg rolls do not take much time at all to cook. These babies take less than 2 minutes, especially if your oil is at temperature, or even more so if you're going to be deep frying them. They don't take long. Once they turn like a caramel brown, go ahead and flip them over. You don't want them to get too dark, because then they'll burn. To me, this is the perfect color. They're like this nice golden brown color, and it's just the way I like it. I want mine nice and crispy. As you can see to the left of the screen, y'all know I got my little rack over there, which is perfect for making egg rolls or fried chicken. It'll really allow, first of all, for the food to cool down, but not only that, it'll let it properly drain without one side getting soggy. I'm telling you, anytime you're frying food, I know we're so used to doing the paper towel thing, but sometimes that really messes up your food and it makes your food soggy. Get yourself a frying rack. It'll just make your life so much easier. So now that these pretty much are done, I'm going to go ahead and take these out. I'm going to sit them on the rack, let them cool for a bit, and let some of that excess oil kind of drain off. Now, egg rolls, you guys, retain heat for quite some time, so you don't have to worry about them getting cold, because they absolutely will not. They really retain heat. And then I'm just going to repeat this process. Now, look, I will say, once again, I only decided to make 8 of them, but you can make almost about probably 10 to 15 of them. Look at how golden brown it is. Now, you know that don't even make no damn sense. Now, all I'm going to do is stack these bad boys up. I'm topping mine with a little bit of Washington, D.C.'s mumbo sauce. If y'all want a recipe video on how to make mumbo sauce from scratch, leave it down in the description box below. I'm going to cut one of these bad boys open so y'all can see what it looks like. But look, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you're new to my channel, welcome to Simply Food by TY. If you're one of my returning subscribers, well, y'all babies know I love y'all so much. And as always, y'all babies, stay cute and take care. My God, on today, just look at the inside. Look at the bacon, the onion, the meat, the cheese. Bye.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.